You good on gas? What is up, guys? It is your least favorite motovlogger, Brian636 here, joined by a special guest today, Elijah Marshall Stunts. Really wish I was not making this motovlog right now, but I feel like it's needed in a lot of ways. Right now we're in the North Lawndale neighborhood, and we are heading to the once South Lawndale neighborhood, renamed Little Village now, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys know why we're going there right away. Let's hit the road on these beautiful Harley 1200 Sportsters. Man, every time I ride through North Lawndale, man, it's sad to see what's happened in this neighborhood over the years. Definitely one of the more abandoned neighborhoods here in the city. Alright guys, so if you live in Chicago, I already know you've heard about this, but people outside of Chicago are just now hearing about this story. Early last month in March, a 13-year-old boy named Adam Toledo was shot and killed by CPD. And in this video, all I'm going to do is talk about straight facts. No opinions here, because I feel like that doesn't really serve a purpose on this channel at all. Chicago police from District 10 responded to a shot spotter in the vicinity of the 2300 block of South Sawyer in the Little Village neighborhood. Upon arriving, they found two subjects. One, a 21-year-old male, the other one, a 13-year-old, who subsequently fled on foot from the scene, where moments before there was just a shot spotter alerted. The police chased down the 13-year-old boy, saw that he had a gun in his hand, and when the 13-year-old went to stop and drop the gun, he turned around quickly and put up his hands. He was shot once in the upper chest and died pretty much instantly. Oh my God! Police attempted to render aid to the 13-year-old boy, but that was kind of a lost cause at this point. If you would like to see the video, you can, but out of respect for the family, I'm not going to show it. I think it's fucked up that it's even circulating right now. That's an absolute tragedy, whether you think Adam and his family are totally in the wrong and the bad people to blame here, or the police. I think that's terrible that someone's death and last moments are broadcasted to millions and millions and millions of people like that. And I understand Chicago police released it to try to be transparent with the public. Here we are pulling up to where the scene of it, where it all happened here. Pretty powerful statement there with the mural with the little boy's hands up. The fact that a 13-year-old boy is out with a 21-year-old habitual felon in possession of a gun, shooting at a car at 2:30 in the morning, total fail of not only the parents but also the justice system, and the fact that this guy is still out on the street and still having probably a bigger influence on that 13-year-old's life than any parent or role model ever did have. Hell, that was fucking his role model. And for anyone saying that, oh, he's gang affiliated and stuff like that, if you were raised into one of these neighborhoods around here, like Little Village, North Lawndale, Englewood, anything, Austin, you in some way are affiliated with a gang. You live on a block, your brother, your cousin, somebody is in a gang, and you will be affiliated with a gang. So that's not uncommon. And here we are in Little Village, neighborhood it happened in, and there's not a single broken window or anything. Nothing. Looting has not happened here. Mexico actually gifted Little Village that clock right there, and this was an annexed neighborhood of Chicago. Pretty cool little known fact there, because this is the most Hispanic neighborhood in Chicago. I'm moving on to the second part of my video. Around after that, because there is a third part, believe me, and it involves motorcycles being back in the news. A lot of people were expecting riots within the village. Oh no, Eli. Right next to the Cook County Jail? Oh, you bad boy. Oh, no, you bad boy. Hey, you go to the jail. You go to the jail now. A lot of people, of course, including the city, is expecting protests and riots, much like the George Floyd killing that happened in 2020 in Minneapolis. There was a number of protests last night, and for the most part, they were peaceful. There was a couple clashes with police officers and stuff like that, but you did not see anywhere near the mayhem and destruction going on in our city like we did this time last year in May of 2020. The violence and overall just lawlessness that created in the city was something that I think no political party ever wanted to see again. So this year, especially after that shooting and police, putting off the release of this, the youngest person that's been killed by police here in Illinois in a long time, PD was definitely ready this time for a lot of unrest, and it shows. The Outlaws, 1%er group here in Chicago, got some of the first row houses ever established here under the Chicago Public Housing Authority. A lot of these were for returning World War II veterans coming back to Little Village from serving their country. in the 40s. Making me feel silly not wheeling, you know. I guess I'll do a wheelie with you. Jesus. Nothing to see here, just a couple Harleys wheeling. Beautiful artwork all along 26th Street here as well. But guys, I think the main reason that we are not going to see a lot of that unrest and protesting is that when the George Floyd riots and protests were happening here in Chicago, almost every single neighborhood took on some form of damage, a protest went through, whatever, besides, unironically, Little Village, which is where Adam Toledo was shot and killed. It's really sad that a 7th grader, his life was taken like that. It's just fucking sad, man. And for the people that do go and watch that video, make sure it still makes you feel a certain type of way, a certain type of pain. Don't become so numb to this violence here in our city that it doesn't make you feel that way anymore. Allow yourself to feel the pain for the family and don't become so numb to this violence. Like I was saying, every neighborhood besides Little Village was hit by protesters, and that's because in this extremely Hispanic community, a lot of the local gangs defended those businesses from a lot of the looting that was going on around them. 26th Street is the biggest hub of business besides Michigan Avenue here in Chicago. The second highest grossing business district in Chicago is Little Village on 26th Street. And some of those same gangbangers that have been terrorizing that neighborhood for years stood up and put their foot down and said, no, our neighborhood will not get looted. Our businesses will not get fucked up. So it really doesn't surprise me that the amount of unrest is not nearly at the level as it was last year, because right in their backyard of where the shooting happened has remained fairly peaceful. Yes, I think they understand that for reform to come and for justice to be served on both ends, we need the justice system to just play out the way it should. Now guys, before I go on to the last part of this story of us being back in the news, let me tell you a little bit about Chicago in the past year. Not only have police involved shootings and shootings at the police gone way up. I think there was like 79 officers shot or shot at last year. That's fucking insane. But more so, we recorded one of the most violent years here in Chicago in a long time, as well as the most violent day here in Chicago in like 60 or 70 years, May 31st, the day that most of the protesting from George Floyd went on. We've also been experiencing a 400% surge in carjacking. There's carjackings everywhere. There's been like 3 carjackings right by my house in the past couple months here. People literally getting pulled out of their car at gunpoint like this is fucking GTA or something. It's nuts. I don't know when this started or when it got to this level, but it's definitely going on here. So with that being said, with Chicago on track for another extremely violent year, it adds just a little bit of salt in the wound, you know, just presses it in extra nice. When yesterday, CPD and the Chicago Sun-Times does a story on the loud and reckless motorcyclists of Chicago, again, saying that this is going to be the #1 priority, that they're going to ticket us so hard that we're not going to want to ride in the city anymore. And this is their #1 thing for 2021. No matter what side of the fence you're on, whether it's better training of the police, or if you're on the fence of the gangs and the guns are the problems, that money and resources should be used at some of the funding and community organization groups that have been severely undercut during the quarantine. But instead, you're going to try to focus on the motorcyclists of downtown. And the most ironic part is that, you know, it's claiming it's a public safety issue again. You know, the motorcyclists down here at the public safety issue. You know, if it was a public safety issue and that so many people were getting hurt by it, they would name some names, right? It's because there is nobody outside of the bikers themselves, you know, in the times that a dude does crash, the biker gets hurt. There hasn't been a pedestrian hurt in the city of Chicago by a motorcyclist or anything like that in a long fucking time. Like 4,100 pedestrian involved accidents here in Cook County. One of them involved a motorcyclist. So the rest of them are texting and driving, you know, drunk drivers, a variety of other types of accidents. So I really think they're just trying to make a story out of something again here. And it's kind of getting old. We're, you know, in the news when there's 13-year-old boys getting shot and killed at the hands of CPD, when there's this huge surge in carjackings here, when violence is an all-time high, that they want to put that in the news like in the same week. But we talk about the fact that downtown is once again boarded up in preparation for riot. But it's just pretty crazy how something that is so victimless, that hurts literally nobody, is such a concern to some officials, just because there is so many Karens complaining about it. So much so that they're saying they're going to put helicopters, that they're going to create a task force, that they're going to do all this stuff. Use all that vital money that, you know, is at the hands of CPD for funding to fight such a victimless crime is just really amazing to me. When we look at the real problem here, I think offenders like the 21-year-old armed habitual offenders like that are the real problem here in the city. I think the looting and the protesting that went on here last year and that mentality and that lawlessness is the problem here in the city. And I don't think a couple motorcycles revving their motors is the problem. And if they think they're going to get motorcycles out of downtown Chicago, you're absolutely nuts. Everyone within an hour, 2 hours of this city rides here because it is such a beautiful place. And it's such an awesome place to ride motorcycles. The scenery here is second to none. And yes, whether you like it or not, motorcyclists enjoy the sound of their bikes in between skyscrapers. Sounds cool. It just does. Jimmy John's and even Ace Hardware is boarded up in preparation for more unrest here. So I just don't think that the law of motorcyclists is what is deterring businesses and tourists from coming to our city in the year 2021. Believe me, it's not. I personally think it's the fact that there's guns everywhere and felons that get let out the same day. So to the officers that are going to be out ticketing these law of motorcyclists, you know, because I know that bill is passing, please keep that in the back of your heads, guys. A lot of these guys are just enthusiasts. We enjoy riding. I really do hope that some of the city officials start to get a little bit more of their priorities in line, you know, with us being the murder capital and having this reputation for so long. I cannot believe that they put motorcycles in the news right after, you know, a 13-year-old got shot with his hands up. It's fucking unbelievable. Alright guys, I'm getting out of here before anything does happen downtown today, as there is some organized protests. Don't really want to be a part of that. Don't really want to be down there. I know I covered it last year, but I just really don't want to after, you know, being kind of demonized in the media as just being a motorcyclist. Look at all the graffiti downtown. Gotta love it. A lot of graffiti in the city as of lately. That and boarded up buildings and a bunch of shootings is not a good look for people looking to invest in our city. I would probably put a lot of that stuff way before motorcyclists, but that's just me. If you agreed or disagreed with anything I said, please leave it down in the comments. However, as far as comments go about Adam, his family, anything like that, please be respectful to them. A young life was lost. No matter what you think of the circumstances around it, please keep it respectful, please. If you guys like the video, make sure to give it a like. And if you're new here, please do hit that subscribe button. I love each and every one of you guys. Pray for us, pray for our city, and please, for the love of God, respect each other's lives. I'm tired of this fucking shit. I love y'all. I'm getting out of here. Peace.